Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. Now, every so often, there's a story that just doesn't quite do it for you. Big Finish have had a tremendously high hit rate of late. They've produced some of the best Doctor Who ever. There's no argument about that. It's just great. And last time's early adventures, consisting of Fraser Hines doing the voice of the second Doctor, was just plain brilliant. The Black Hole is one of the greatest Doctor Who stories to come out of Big Finish, and it set the bar very, very high. See, the problem is, it just didn't do it for me, and I can't figure out why. We're back to that thing years ago when I reviewed one of Andrew Smith's stories that it just didn't quite push the right buttons, and admittedly I went back to it later, and I was wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong about this, because some of the other reviews, Sci-Fi Bulletin and Blog to Who, just love it. They think and have said that this is a brilliant old school romp. Perhaps it's because I was listening to this while I was on a ward. Perhaps not. You see, it's kind of set straight after the Cyberman invasion of Earth. The Cyberfleet's still exploding, but something is escaping through the debris left behind. So the Doctor goes off into pursuit to try and find what's happened, and they end up on a mysterious planet where these... Well, let's face it, basically it's a sequel to Invasion. The story itself felt long. It felt accurate, I'll give you that. It did feel like it was of the time, but it felt accurate in the sense of, yeah, I've got the DVD on my shelf, but I don't fancy watching it right now kind of story from the second Doctor's reign. Yes, the Cybermen are brilliant. Yes, the acting is spot on. There isn't, as always, a single bad performance going on. Just collectively, it didn't quite do it for me. It's not a crime. It just wasn't for me. If Doctor Who was always for me, it would be a terribly boring place. So yes, there are people out there who adored this story. I'm just not one of them. I found it a tiny bit draggy. And you know what? The fact that one day I want to write for Big Finish means that as I upset Nick Briggs with these statements, I'm probably scuppering and moistening my own gunpowder. Well, you'd rather I was honest with you, wouldn't you? And just that this story didn't do it for me. Perhaps my head was in a bad place. Perhaps. I just don't know. There was one point where there are giant slugs that they're riding. Yes, you heard me correctly. And then Zoe, who's also doubling up as narrator with being Wendy Padbury's real voice, rides these things, and then she meets a different character who I thought was also one of the slugs but had been cyberized and was talking, and it took me a good 20 minutes to figure out that this person was a humanoid person who was one of the original inhabitants. And I thought for a moment that the idea of cyberizing other races, other creatures, was being dealt with here, and that was kind of interesting. And then when I discovered I'd just misheard, I was kind of beating myself up about that one. So yes, it's a perfectly good story if you like that sort of thing. Maybe it's the narration that puts me off. It makes me think of it being one of the lost stories where the visuals have been lost and the narration's just guiding me through. So perhaps that's what it is. It reminds me of all of those lost tales, when it just doesn't have to. I just don't like narration half as much as some other people. That is a personal thing. So don't listen to me. Listen to Blog to Who says it's an enormously entertaining old-school romp, a real must-have for your collection, or another winner in the range, an excellent addition from Sci-Fi Bulletin. Yeah, listen to those people, not to me, because I could be wrong. Perhaps. Until next time, when I'll be talking about the Churchill box set, which I enjoyed enormously. Well, be seeing you. Here's the trailer.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Doctor Who, The Early Adventures, the ISOSNetwork.
Prepare to reach atmosphere. All hands prepare to reach atmosphere.
atmosphere. Seal all pressure doors, secure bulkheads.
Thrust building to maximum burn. Setting angle of descent. Now.
Execute.
Vast, shiny walkways stretched as far as the eye could see.
They really do travel much faster than your common or garden slugs, don't they?
Yes, but where are they taking us, Doctor?
I have no idea.
Who are these aliens?
They are known as Cybermen. Jamie? Oh dear.
Cybermen!
We mean you no harm. We surrender. But you see, the thing is, Captain, I don't know anything about the disappearance of your colonists.
So you keep saying.
And yet an energy trace was detected on this planet. And when we arrived here, we discovered that energy trace was coming from some sort of crate that you freely admit belongs to you.
They showed no mercy, the Cybermen.
We must revive the cyber controller unit for further instructions.
The doctor is recognized.
Big Finish. We love stories.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.